Israel is the victor. It is a pioneer, an innovator. It took a land without a people and made it blossom at the hands of a people without a land. Israel is necessary. Israel is a haven. It is moral. It is a democracy. Israel is America. Israel occupies, no pun intended, a unique position in the American news media landscape, in its political landscape, and, more than anywhere else, in the American consciousness and imagination.
So let me be clear about what I believe. I stand with Israel because of our shared values, which are so fundamental to the founding of both our nations.
Advocacy itself is not the cause of the bond between the United States and Israel. Its cause is the shared history and common values that draw America and Israel together.
There is an assumption of virtue, of a greater good in America's official history that has been consciously reproduced by Israel's advocates for a large part of the last century in an attempt to Americanize the Israeli project. And so when the curtain is pulled away to reveal the violence that upholds Israel's existence, there is an understanding from the United States of the necessity of this violence, because Israeli violence is necessary to protect Israel from threats to its exceptional existence, just as American violence is necessary to protect the United States from threats to its exceptional existence.
If we think about the comparison between the United States as a settler colonial state and Israel as one, we can think about how people in the U.S. presented Native Americans. They were presented as disappearing, as not having political claims. Often people were very sad about what had happened to them, but what to do? Palestinians are not seen for a long time, but when they are seen, starting in the 1980s more, they begin to be seen as people who might have political claims, but the story of them is a story of people who are victims, who have a sad story, but Israel had to be Israel.
A counter-narrative to the American story about Israel that would be told from the Palestinian vantage point would also indict the sustained American histories and realities of violence against its indigenous and black populations. Thus, Palestinians must be made into, at best, pitiful victims caught as collateral in Israel's attempt to defend itself, and, at worst, as generation after generation of terrorist threats.
It doesn't really matter what the Palestinians do. They can blow up whomever they want to blow up. They can elect Hamas when given an opportunity to move forward. They can take one chance after another to recognize the state of Israel and their right to exist, and they will not do it.
The last few times that negotiations have taken place, the emphasis has been on asserting that Israel has been victimized by terrorist activities, by Hamas, by the failure of the Palestinians to govern themselves.
In both representations of Palestinians, the purpose of the State of Israel, the political status quo, and its carefully curated image remain intact. Even when Israeli crimes and transgressions beyond the expanding occupation, land theft, and apartheid are clear, Israel's moral authority isn't questioned. Questioning that moral authority is akin to questioning the necessity of Israel. Just as indigenous peoples are erased from the founding of an America free from British colonizers, Palestinians are mostly disappeared in Israel's founding.
At the founding of the Israeli state, there was almost no recognition of Palestinians at all. Even the word Palestinian was often used to refer to Palestinian Jews, people who had moved there. Palestinian Arabs were all but invisible. They were talked about only as refugees. The idea that they even represented a national consciousness was nowhere to be seen. I think there is a question of why it has been so hard for Americans to imagine that Palestinians have an absolute right to self-determination, that Palestinians, as much as anybody else, has the right to represent themselves, to have some kind of sovereign control over their lives. It is a bit shocking to me that it's been so hard for Americans to understand that.